right, of course, because I should know who that is.
I don't care what you think.
I'll tell you something that rubbed me right.
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Paul Perillo's here. Jake Seymour is doing a great job taking the calls, running the board. Matt McCarthy in for the guys. I'm sorry, we have not gotten to you as much as I intended to in the first hour. That's on me. I feel badly about it.
Enough about us. Let's go.
You got me all riled up about the Red Sox. I had a great weekend. Now you're bringing me down.
I ruined your Bruce experience.
No, nothing could ruin my Bruce experience from last night. I have something I want to get to on that later in the program. It was really nice to go to the Garden and actually get your money's worth. Unlike what you get from the Bruins and the Celtics in the playoffs. That was nice.
Another good shot. Okay.
How about Steve and Carver? Steve, how you doing?
Hey, guys. Matt, first of all, I love you, but I hope you take your own advice about not anointing these guys, because I do remember you saying Roman Anthony was a top 5 Boston athlete currently, like about a month ago. So,
no, hand up.
I mean, we were all there. But here's the thing. Marcelo Meyer should be a case study in the Felger and Mazz School of Journalism about why tanking fails, because they threw away an entire season for this guy to hit 220 with a 550 OPS. Remember, they hired an incompetent manager on purpose and threw away a full season. Now, I know it was 60 games and it was the COVID year, but that year, Matt, the White Sox, the Marlins, the Reds, bum organizations not only made the playoffs, but some of those teams actually won a freaking playoff series. Meanwhile, I had to sit there and watch the worst Red Sox team until now, worst Red Sox team of my lifetime, just to get Marcelo Meyer, again, who was the 4th overall pick and can't hit above 220. That should be the number one case study for why tanking fails, especially in baseball. And we wasted a year for this guy, and it pisses me off 5 years later.
Dude, Steve, it's even more than just a year, and you make a good point with 2020. They let Xander Bogaerts walk out the door. They did not want to pay him.
That's the problem with all. They didn't tank to get Marcelo Meyer, and that was like the solution. You have it right there.
Yeah, they've basically tanked since because they have Marcelo Meyer. You got all the
guys. You did what everybody says is so hard. It was Bogaerts. It was Devers. It was Betts. And you had what a lot of people would consider to be one of the greatest teams of the modern times here. And you augmented that with J.D. Martinez and some free agent money, and you had a wagon that won whatever 118 games that they win that year with all, like that was a World Series champion. And then you let piece by piece, you just let it all go. That wasn't like because I want Marcelo Meyer. They hired Ron Renicky because they were waiting for Cora to come back. Like they weren't going to go out and hire someone of any value when their full intention was, well, we're going to suspend Cora for a year, and then he's going to come back. That was the plan.
But it's been what's happened since.
Yes.
You draft Marcelo Meyer in 2021 coming off of a weird COVID year, all of that. So 2022, you finished in last place. And I heard that year, well, the kids are still on their way.
They let all those guys go and never replace them with anybody.
The kids are coming. We're not going to trade any prospects at this point. It's a 5-year build. Okay, so you finished last place in 2022. 2023, you finish in last place. Chaim Bloom gets fired as part of that after declaring, we're going to do this, it's going to be awesome. And the reason he's declaring that is because at that point, he's drafted Marcelo Meyer. He's drafted Christian Campbell. He's drafted Roman Anthony. So they basically wasted a number of years in the middle of this whole thing because, well, we have these kids coming up. Meyer's going to be so special. We're not going to pay Bogaerts $160 million, which is what they could have gotten him for. We're not going to re-sign him for that. Instead, we're going to sign Story for a little bit less because we'll bring him in here. He'll play second. Then maybe Meyer will be ready. Then he won't. Maybe he won't. We'll move Story over. But then Meyer will come up. So we got to get Bogaerts out of the picture here because we have the next Corey Seager. Well, we can't really, we're not going to trade to improve this team at the deadline. We're not going to, take some prospects out. We're only a game and a half out of the playoffs. But no, we can't trade Marcelo Meyer. He's a top 10 prospect. He's at the height of his value. Okay, well, then you better be right on him. It's not that they tanked to get him. They tanked after they got him because they believe so much in him.
And they've been wrong. But that's the part is instead of you had those 3 guys. So let's just, obviously, forget Betts, okay? Because Betts is a generational player, okay? If Anthony turns out to be a great player, it's probably unlikely that he's as good as Mookie Betts.
Right.
Okay.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah. So let's just kind of put that in a different tier. But if these guys were as good as like Bogart, if Meyer was Bogaerts, how much better off would they be right now? They'd be better.
They'd be better.
But like not. The problem is is you're not bringing in guys to augment that. It's all you put it all on the kids. Like no one, like only the small market teams do that. The Tampas do that, and every once in a while, and it looks like this is one of those years. It kind of works for them, but they're not going to win anything doing it. They're not going to win. No, certainly not going to win consistently over the span of 5 years because it's too hard to just have kids. And then we know what the problem is down there. These guys will play well for 2 or 3 years. Then they're going to be looking to get paid, and they're going to deal them.
Yep.
And then it's impossible to replace them all.
Well, right. The Red Sox are capable of replacing those guys.
That's what the advantage that the Red Sox have over those teams is they don't have to do it that way. And they've chosen to.
They've chosen to go down this path. And we can criticize ownership for that, and I'm more than happy to. Say, well, it's, you're trying to spend money on players in their 20s instead of players in their 30s. Okay, maybe there's a baseball argument to be made for that. I get it. You want to pay for a guy when he's actually performing instead of paying for Xander Bogaerts, who's been fine in San Diego. I mean, that's a terrible contract. He's still been better than Trevor Story. He's still been better than Marcelo Meyer. So, maybe you don't want to pay Bogaerts $160 million, which is what it would have taken to get him a few years ago. You certainly don't want to pay him $280, but he's better than Story. He's better than Meyer. That's where you're at. So, I mean, would you rather pay for past performance but still actually have a guy who can help you instead of the whole thing's a mess. There's no other way to say it. How about Nate in the car? Hi, Nate.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Yeah, so do you think the analytics kind of ruin these guys? Because, I remember a few years back when Jim Rice came in and tried to help the team hit. And they're like, no, don't listen to him. Listen to our computer guys. Like, it doesn't make sense that, in the minors, these guys are doing well. I've watched a lot of the Woo Sox games, and I know it's a totally different level. But when they got to the pros, they should be able to swing and use their own baseball instincts as opposed to being told, no, hit like this, just get on base, because it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, so, Nate, I want to actually bring Leo on the Cape on the line because I think he wants to say something similar.
Yes, it's the driveline people, they're not drafting and developing guys. They're teaching them the wrong way. How can Meyer be drafted that high and all the scouts say he's that good and he can't hit? And you're not teaching them how to hit a curveball and a changeup in the minors. You're teaching them launch angles. I mean, there was a guy they traded for, a minor leaguer, and from the Dodgers. They tried to change his swing. He couldn't hit. They got frustrated, traded him away, and now he went back to his old swing, and he's tearing it up. It's them. They're their own worst enemy. So it's a two-headed monster. You're not spending any money for players, and you're not drafting and developing the talent you do have.
What do you make of the whole driveline stuff?
So the driveline stuff, obviously, I think what I think of that. It drives me crazy a little bit. I just think that there's two things can be true in some of these things. I think that we're letting some of the young players off the hook for not being able to hit a changeup.
Right. Meyer got to Meyer got to Double-A, and he saw a Double-A curveball for the first time and was like, "Oh crap!" I mean, that's the stats bear it out. So is that driveline, or did they take an overhyped high school prospect who has the most beautiful swing in the world, and then you see he can't hit a curveball? It's like, well, what's your beautiful swing going to do?
Right.
He's Pedro Serrano.
I mean, I'm glad in another life, I coached a little high school baseball, and I'm so thankful that I never had to do it in sort of this launch angle era because I do have some friends that still coach now, and they astound me with some of the stories. These kids come up to them, and they're like, they're not interested in hitting line drives. They just want to drive the ball in the air. They'd rather fly out to deep left than line a single up the middle.
Yeah.
That's obviously an exaggeration, but that's the mentality they go into these. That's what it's all about. Launch angle, exit velocity. That's what this driveline stuff is bringing about, and I think it's the wrong way to do it. But at the same time, don't let the players themselves off the hook for not being able to hit, especially in the very specific thing that you're talking about, where Meyer can't hit off-speed stuff. Like, that's not because of driveline.
No, it's not. It's because of him.
Yeah.
And it's because of
he's got a hole in his swing.
And that's scouting, and whether or not they actually scouted that or ignored it because they saw some analytics. They say, and Meyer does hit when he hits a fastball, he hits it on a line. It's a beautiful thing to watch. But yeah, you can't hit a curveball. So what is it? overhyping a guy. They're also trying to as well. Like, it's been interesting. Bloom didn't draft any pitchers because he believed that pitchers were a dime a dozen. Now, Breslow has done the exact opposite. He's taken a ton of pitchers. They've kind of fixed the pitching development in the organization, but they're taking a bunch of undersized guys and saying, well, there's more here and we can turn them into power hitters. So it's like the exact opposite approach. They're trying to manufacture, they're trying to engineer power hitters. They're trying to engineer hitters instead of just taking the guy who can actually hit. So it's kind of the exact opposite.
I think you make a great point, and you'll have to forgive me for not being as up to speed as, I know like you guys are really, you and Jared Carabas and Tyler Milliken are really in tune with all of these young guys. Mm-hmm. I was stunned when I didn't hear a tremendous amount about Christian Campbell until all of a sudden he was the next big thing.
Yep, it happened fast.
Which is going back to 2 winters ago.
Right. It was the 2024 season.
Leading into the 25 season that he opened, as a centerpiece to their lineup. I was stunned when I saw him. After hearing about him that winter, I was like, oh, this kid, I didn't know much about this kid. I'm starting to learn about him now, and I'm hearing people talk about Christian Campbell. When I saw him, I was like, that's the guy they're trying to make hit the ball in the air and drive the ball. Like, that's not – that just doesn't look like it's in his skill set.
Malpractice. Paul, I'm telling you, go to Worcester. Watch him. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
Watch him in the outfield.
Now, that might be a guy for the caller that was ruined by the drive line.
Maybe. Yeah, certainly. They saw something in the analytics that said if we do this with this guy, he's going to be a star, and they made a big-time bet on it, and they whiffed on it. But you're right. Campbell was in single A in 2024, and then he ended up in triple A.
I don't follow those guys, as closely as you guys do. And I just, when I started hearing about him, and then I saw the size of him, I was like, that's the guy? Like Roman Anthony, you look at, those guys look like they were born to be baseball players, Anthony and Meyer. They have the look. It's like Moneyball,
Right.
And I won't use the crude language that the scout uses, but the scene I'm talking about.
I do, yes.
What comes into the room 5 minutes before the guy gets there.
Right, exactly.
That's what those guys look like. They look like they've been studs all their lives. Christian Campbell didn't look like that. And I was like, and we're going to try to make this guy drive the ball we want him launch angles and stuff. That's what we're looking for. It didn't make any sense to me when I saw that first series. I could still remember it. The first series in Texas. I was like, that's the guy?
He doesn't have a position. His swing's all over the place. What the hell is this? Hey, shocker, by the way, that they're 22-30 with this approach. We'll continue. 617-779-0985. Red Sox thoughts on the line. Got some NBA playoff thoughts on the line. We'll get to Jaylen Brown and his weekend and second-team All-NBA. Tons to get to today, which is good. It's Memorial Day. Matt McCarthy, Paul Perillo in for Felger and Mazz on a re-entry Monday.
Felger, Mazz, the Sports Hub.
I'm not the most liked fan or media. Sometimes I use my platform a little controversial, so I'm surprised I'm on any team, let alone first or second. So, Mom's in the chat. Second team All-NBA. I'm grateful. God is the greatest. This is live too. This is live. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything. I'm not surprised about nothing. I'm grateful for everything. I know who I am, so I get it. I'm surprised I win awards at all sometimes. So I'm grateful, man. It's a blessing. Like I said, this season has been this season has been a journey. It's been great. It's been a blessing to be a part of the group that I've been on, especially with the expectations they put on us. The expectation was to, not even be a playoff team.
Shocked I'm even on any award. I say controversial things and they hold stuff against me. It's like everybody is out to get Jaylen Brown, aren't they?
Yep. It's tough to listen to him sometimes, and I know that this, there's a lot of passion in this debate on both sides. But I would just say that for a guy of his ability, there's dime a dozen players that talk and they're not very likable and whatnot. This is a really, really good player who just, I think, goes out of his way to be at times as unlikable as you could possibly be. Like, I'm listening to that little clip there coming in, and in 30, 45 seconds, which is it, Jaylen? Are you surprised that you made a team, or are you pissed that you didn't make the first team? Because you kind of expressed both of those sentiments there. Because people hold it against you that you talk about and write about and text and tweet about controversial things. So the inference there is that's why I didn't get first team, right?
Right.
Because I'm a controversial figure. And then, and then I'm going to do all the whole self-deprecating thing. I mean, it's just a blessing. I'm surprised I made any team. Oh, woe is Jaylen. I mean, it's hard. For the Eastern Conference Final MVP and the NBA Final MVP in 2024 is suddenly now surprised he does anything. Like, I just think he's a really good player. I just don't understand why he's so angry at everybody all the time.
I've done a real 180 on Jaylen Brown since the end of the Philadelphia series. And admittedly, it's based on a lot of the comments he's made, where I do wonder if it really is going to work with Jaylen Brown and his attitude, which is so frustrating because it has, in some ways, in many ways, worked with Brown and Tatum. I mean, they won a championship in 2024. So you feel like you have two all-NBA quality players. That should work, but it has not to the extent that I think any of us expected it would. I mean, when they won in 2024, I said, this is the beginning for them. They finally figured out how to win. Brown was the best player on that team. In the final 2 rounds of those playoffs, Brown was the best player on that team, and in some ways it worked because Tatum recognized that his shot wasn't falling and did a lot to help the team.
He became more of a facilitator and absolutely.
Playmaker.
He let the spotlight to Brown, and it worked.
And how many NBA superstars, by the way, are willing to do that? I give Jason Tatum a ton of credit.
And even if, I agree with you, but even if you wanted to say from the other side, I give Brown a lot of credit for being ready to say, okay, a lot of times it's Jason's team and he's the focal point, but they need me to be the focal point right now, and he was ready, and he did it. And he got a lot of credit for it. But he just seems to think, he seems to behave in a way that, like, no one ever recognized that. He won the MVP of both series.
The voters said you were the best and most valuable player on
But he's still this sort of slighted, and I understand, look, it works for him. The chip on the shoulder thing has worked for Jaylen Brown. Maybe that's all this is. Maybe we overanalyze it. But I still can't get past that this is the most, first of all, did anybody not think the Celtics were going to make the playoffs this year? Like, not make the playoffs.
No, I think there's been some revisionist history here in recent weeks. Like, wow, they overachieved. Yeah, they did. They slightly overachieved.
I think a lot of people thought they were going to be a 3, 4, 5 seed, and they were the 2 seed.
Yeah, I thought they
would win 50 games. They won 56.
Yeah, I mean, I thought
they overachieved.
I mean,
sure.
I bet the over. I saw 41.5. I said, you got to be kidding me. I mean, this team.
Felger, of all people, one of the most negative guys that we have, was all over the over on that.
A man who hates the Celtics.
Right. So,
I'm all over this.
I get
they were going to be a 4 or 5 seed.
They did overachieve.
Yeah.
Okay. I just don't think they overachieved to the extent that he and a lot of the fans are now portraying it to try to, substantiate that comment of this is the most enjoyable, this is the most successful season, this is my favorite year.
He said that kind of again in those comments. I love this year. And you lost in the first round.
And I understand why you would have an affection for this year. And I bring everything back to what I do. Like, I'm down in Foxborough and with the Patriots. Bill Belichick has always spoken glowingly about the 2008 Patriots. Because it was a year he sort of validated the program. Right. Tom Brady, the most important player in the league, went down and played, a quarter, less than 1/4 of the season, of one game of the season. And they still found a way to go 11-5. I've never heard Bill Belichick, now maybe he believes this, but he's never said, that was my favorite year coaching.
No.
Not the 6 years that I won the Super Bowl. The year that we went 11-5 and didn't make the playoffs. He might believe it, Matt, because there might be something in him, from an ego standpoint that says, they said it was all about Brady. Well, I showed them it wasn't just all about Brady. We went 11-5.
And then turns out it was all about Brady.
No, I know, but he has always spoken about that team glowingly.
And Brown should...
He should be proud of the fact that they won 56 games and he was without Tatum. I'm not taking that away from him. He should be proud of that.
But the way they exited, dude,
that ruins it.
3-1 with
to a bad team.
A terrible team. Losing twice at home is part of that. And to go on once again about how everybody has slighted him. And, he probably does have a case. Should he be All-NBA first team? It's very borderline.
I could make an argument for him for first team All-NBA, sure. But I could make an argument for Luka, too.
In the end, I mean, Jake, you're one of the hosts of the Green Teamers podcast here. I mean, you tell me on this. I mean, I look at the All-NBA team and I say, yeah, Jaylen Brown has a case to be first team. Is it absurd that he's second team? No. Would it be absurd had he been first team? No. Luka has a case. Cade Cunningham has a case. I mean, how would you have voted, Jake?
So I would have had Jaylen Brown on first team instead of Cade Cunningham. Luka Doncic, great player, played a lot. And I just think he's an upper echelon in the NBA. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to Cade Cunningham, he missed the last portion of the regular season with a collapsed lung, doesn't play until the postseason, and Jaylen Brown was playing through all that and working with a group that doesn't have nearly the same amount of teammates or quality of teammates that those two guys had.
You think Cade Cunningham has better teammates than the Celtics?
Yeah, I mean...
Cade Cunningham is a one-man show.
Based on what the Pistons did, though, they finished as the first.
Yeah, I think that's because of Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
Again, Jake, I didn't mean to jump on you, but I'm going to jump on you because that's what I do.
That's the business.
But I would say if you had told me Cade Cunningham is second team and Jaylen Brown's first team, I wouldn't have an argument at all. Not at all. Jaylen Brown had a fantastic season, and if you want to tell me he deserved it over Cade Cunningham,
agreed.
I would say I got no problem with that at all. I don't have any problem with the way it came out, and I would just say from afar, Detroit kind of stinks.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of Cade Cunningham, and that's it.
Yeah.
They were able to, in Cunningham, and I know that it doesn't count because these are regular season awards, but I think it was kind of validated in the playoffs when one team is up 3-1 and loses, and the other team's down 3-1 and finds a way to at least get through to the next round and give themselves a chance. And again, on the road, down 3-2, gets the force. Now, they fell apart in Game 7 at home, but that team is not very good. The Pistons are not very good.
I think the voters got it right. But again, had Jaylen Brown been first team All-NBA, I wouldn't be coming in here today and saying, wow, they really screwed Cade Cunningham.
No, I would not.
Wow, they really screwed Luka Doncic. And by the way, I hate Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is one of my least favorite players in the NBA. Can't defend, just goes. I mean, he is James Harden. He is Eastern European James Harden. That's who he is.
You don't want to commit to a country there?
Is it Slovenia? Is it Slovakia? I got to go back.
See, now you got me second guessing.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
The former Yugoslavia, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
does not matter.
I'm with Jake. I mean, I probably would have had Jaylen Brown on my first team. So that I would agree with you, Jake. But I don't think it's a travesty that he's not.
I guess the point just on the Pistons being a better team than the Celtics, they beat the Celtics 3-1 in the regular season this year. Brown scored more points, had more total rebounds. Cade Cunningham had more assists, more steals, and more blocks. Jaylen Brown also shot the ball better in general. So just based on that is where I would think Jaylen Brown had the edge over Cade Cunningham. Was it a robbery? Probably not. The thing that really aggravated me about this is that Luka and Cade Cunningham both didn't meet the 65-game criteria. They got waivers from the league. They each played 64 games.
Yeah.
But Jaylen Brown played in 71 games. If the whole point of this is to reward players for playing a lot, no one else fits the bill besides Jaylen Brown out of those three.
Yeah, so I think is a very fair argument.
It is a fair argument that they, and I understand what the league ruled with, Doncic missed 2 games to be with his, for the birth of his child, and, Cunningham, obviously a collapsed lung. It wasn't load management, but I think that's a fair point. If you put in these thresholds, which I think it was a ridiculous threshold to put in, but you put it in and then you make exceptions for it, I agree with Jake. I think that's kind of silly.
I want to get into what these latest comments, how they make you feel about Brown in the future with the Celtics. Because once again, it's a reminder to me.
Doesn't it just feel like he wants to go?
I agree. And you know what? It's gotten to the point, based on the comments made since the end of the 76er series, bye. I'm good at this point.
I don't like making decisions like that.
No, I don't either.
That's not the right way to do it, but it seems like that's what he wants.
But I have a reason why. Again, I can get annoyed with athletes, and I'm not going to say, bye, get out of here, you're annoying me. Jaylen Brown's annoying me, and I think he should be annoying a lot of Celtics fans with the way that he's carried himself since the end of the Sixers series. I actually think there are basketball reasons. These comments are indicative of basketball reasons and basketball problems, and are a sign of why he probably should go. I'll explain why. We'll get into that. I see on the phone lines. We'll get to you. 617-779-0985. Quick update will continue. Matt McCarthy and Paul Perillo in for Felger and Mazz.
Mike and Tony have a definite chemistry.
Are they?
100%.
Are they?
Yes, 100. Do I stutter?
Do you
Consider them the periodic table of sports talk.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Sorry. We need to blow a gasket.
No. Blow it, baby. Blow it.
Felger and Mazz.
It was weird to walk down those steps at the end of the night saying, damn, that was really good. I enjoyed myself. I'm not walking out of here drunk, angry, and mad from the Bruins and the Celtics consistently letting me down. What a show. What a show last night.
So just drunk?
No.
Not angry or mad?
I don't drink at Springsteen shows because it's like, it'd be like drinking in church. It's like you can't really do that. It's a religious experience.
How pathetic.
Yeah, it's pathetic. You ever seen the man live?
No. Proudly, no.
Why proudly?
Because I'm not a fan.
You
I actually don't watch a lot. I don't go to a lot of concerts. I'm not a big live music guy.
You don't strike me as a music guy, live music guy.
I do like music. I do not go out of my way for live shows.
What I was
not my favorite thing.
What I was reminded of last night, Paul, is greatness. True greatness is a rare thing. We thought Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum were going to be great. 2024, everything's trending in the right direction. No. That was greatness last night.
There's not too many guys that could pull that off, though. You've made the connection between 76-year-old Bruce Springsteen overshadowing Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Well, not many can pull that one off.
Well, that's why they pay me the big bucks, Paul.
Hat tip to you, my friend.
76-year-old Bruce Springsteen, obviously past his prime because he's 76 years old. The man is almost 80 years of age, is still consistently better at his job than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who we have branded as great. The opportunity for them to be the next great Celtics team, a dynasty. It was supposed to trend in that way in 2024, and it just hasn't, man. And seeing that last night, I was like, you know what? We've seen greatness in this town. Tom Brady, great. David Ortiz, great. Pedro Martinez, great. Rob Gronkowski, great. Very few people actually reach that level of, and again, I'll just use the term, true greatness. Brown and Tatum haven't been that. And they're 28, 29 years old. They've won one championship in 10 years. Yeah. They've been good, not great. I think it's time to move on. I think it's time to break it up. And the comments that Jaylen Brown keeps making, Paul, are annoying, don't get me wrong, and we can, poke fun at him for it. He can get into fights with Stephen A. Smith, and we can get a summer's worth of content out of the latest comments made by Jaylen Brown and how he's always fighting with somebody and how somebody is always slighting him. You know what it indicates to me? Is that I just don't know if winning is the number one thing for him. And I don't know if being, a key part of being being in the next great Celtics team, which, again, to be great, you need to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. Like the guy who keeps showing up 50 years later and still delivers incredible shows. That's actual legitimate greatness. Doing it once and then getting bounced by the Knicks the year after and then getting bounced by the Sixers with a 3-1 lead at home the year after that, that's not greatness. That's just a kind of a flash in the pan. That's who these Celtics have been. And at this point, we've been at this for pretty much 10 years now with Brown and Tatum. I don't think you're going to see anything much greater than this, much better than this. They are who they are. I'm on board. I think it's time now.
So I still think that they're, the reason I'm not telling you that I think that they're not going to win again is because I think that it's the same reason why I'm frustrated by it, because I don't remember the last time that they lost in the playoffs to a better team. I think you'd have to go back to probably the finals against Golden State, which I do think, and a lot of people around here would even disagree with that.
Yeah.
But I do think that Warriors team was better than that Celtics team. But you lose at home to the Heat. You win it all.
Yep.
You lose to a Knicks team, I'm sorry, that was not as talented as you, and you were going to lose before Jason Tatum went down. And, don't even get me started on this first round exit. I think when you have the better team, you always have a really good chance to win. And as long as the East is set up the way it is, you're going to have a really good chance to win these playoff series.
Then why does it keep happening?
I don't know.
Jake. Why does it keep happening?
The reason why I would say it keeps happening is that it's not a maybe problem with Brown and Tatum, but a bigger problem with the NBA and how these modern stars maybe don't have that competitive juice that we are accustomed to seeing with these older athletes. Like you go back, David Ortiz, Tom Brady. We're talking about athletes who came up in the 90s, early 2000s, going back even further than that. Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish. It was a different era of sports, not just in basketball. The only person right now who you're seeing that is Wembanyama. And can he continue to do that? Because at first, going back a few years ago, Jokic seemed like he had those traits. Then after he won, we've obviously seen how that gone. He hasn't gotten back to that point. Same thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's been similar stories for a lot of these guys. When they win, it becomes managing the brand, managing their portfolio. Kind of similar to the Red Sox in that capacity, huh?
Yeah, but again, greatness is a rare thing, and you got to keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And what the Celtics have consistently done in this era is, to your point, Paul, lose to worse teams. So at what point do I have to admit, no, 2024 isn't who they are. Who they are is 2023 against the Heat, 2025 against the Knicks, 2026 against the 76ers. That's who they are.
So you can make an argument for that. And in 5 years, when this era is probably done, if they haven't won anything else, I think I would probably side with that. Like, what was the outlier? The outlier was the year that everybody else's best players got hurt and you rolled through the playoffs.
Now, faced no adversity whatsoever.
If you win another title or two, then that narrative sort of takes a back seat because you were able to prove that it didn't matter that Halliburton was hurt or whoever else was injured at the time when you played all these teams. You proved your mettle and you were able to win. But until that happens, I don't like. You still have to have that uncertainty. Just how good is it? And that's why I would separate it from some of the examples Jake used. I mean, did Denver lose to a team that they were better than, or do they out there? It's a whole different animal. Like right now, if the Thunder don't repeat, I'm not going to kill the Thunder for losing to this in this series.
Right.
This is a series that could go either way. These are two heavyweights going toe-to-toe.
Sure thing.
One of them's going to lose.
Celtics haven't really faced that.
Do you know what I mean? And if the Celtics lost that, like when the Celtics lost to Golden State, I didn't sit here kicking the crap out of them. I think that was a heavyweight that punched you back. And you went toe-to-toe with them for a while. You had an opportunity to win that series. You're up 2-1, I believe, with a 10-point lead in the third quarter of Game 4. You couldn't hold on, but there was no shame in not being quite ready to beat Golden State in the finals.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
I think there is shame in losing to an inferior Heat team, an inferior Knicks team, and a woefully inferior 76ers team.
So as you're saying, you got to prove it to me.
Right.
Prove it all night, as somebody would say.
Oh, Jesus.
John in the car. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
What's up?
I just wanted to comment on Springsteen. Was that your first show?
Oh, no, John.
He's 17. Been to 27.
17, John.
17 times?
Yep.
I've seen him about the same number, 15 to 20 times, going all the way back to May of 1978. And every single time I left the arena, I knew I got my money's worth.
Exactly. It's the exact opposite experience of the Bruins and the Celtics. You show up to a Bruins home playoff game in April and May. You know they're going to lose. Best home record in the regular season in hockey. Once the playoffs come around and, you have to prove it. You have to continuously give the people what they need, what they want, what they deserve, what they pay for. They're incapable of that. The Celtics, incapable of that. 17 Springsteen shows in my lifetime.
Do you have
3 banners, just 3 banners for the Bruins and Celtics in my lifetime.
So I know, wow, is that right?
Yeah, just 3. Underachievers.
That is tough.
My whole life, underachievers.
So
just
do
like
you
the
have
Celtics
other
group.
acts that you've seen that many times? Or is Bruce
no.
in a special?
I've had a number of acts that I've seen multiple times. Tom Petty I saw multiple times. Chris Stapleton I've seen multiple times. Taylor Swift I've seen multiple times. Not to this extent though.
But 17 is that's special for Bruce.
It's actually not considered anything special. In my section last night, somebody said I'm on show 25. Another guy said he's on show 43.
Oh yeah. No, I know. I could tell you, like my boss at work, Matt Smith, he's seen Bruce countless times. Mike Reese, I'm sure you hear Mike talking with Fred and Hardy in the morning about all the different live shows. He's gone to a million Bruce shows too. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm the outlier that has no real interest in doing that. But
I do wonder if he kind of said goodbye to us last night at the end of the show. You never know. He's 76, but damn, that guy can still do it.
Farewell tour?
He'll never say that. He'll never, ever say that.
No, he would never milk it or anything.
No, and he certainly didn't milk all of us dry based on what those tickets cost last night. But 20 years I've been seeing him. The demand was insane as I've ever seen. But
over 400?
I got lucky.
Okay.
Put it to you that way. I got lucky. It was very, very nice. Very, very nice. We'll continue. Matt McCarthy, Paul Perillo, Jake Seymour's here. Anything you want. Can you tell on Memorial Day? In for Felger and Mazz.
Oh, yeah! Thoughts, calls, emails. Oh, yeah! I get my jollies out of it. I do. I'm not a good person. Go ahead.
Felger and Mazz.
Oh, yeah!
98.5, the Sports Hub.
Bruce made more in that 3-hour show last night than any of those NBA players are going to make.
It's true. I mean, he makes Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, he's richer than God.
Poppers.
Yes, and trust me, he milked me for all I was worth last night. And you know what? That's okay, because again, at least unlike the Celtics, I am paying Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum's contract by going to games. At least unlike the Celtics, he delivers.
Okay. He's still got to get back to taking shots at Brown and Tatum.
I'm mad. I'm mad that we don't have Celtics games to talk about.
I expect nothing less from you, my friend.
That's me. Just an angry person, Paul.
You know
that.
I like it.
Just very, very pent up with rage. You know that, right?
I do.
How angry, how truly angry I am. There's nothing.
I enjoy. That's
there's
why
nothing
I enjoy
wink,
doing shows with you.
There's nothing wink, wink, nod, nod about that.
No faux outrage at all.
No, definitely not. Tom and Lynn, I am legitimately upset, though, the Celtics are Hi, Tom. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
What's going on?
I got some stats that'll make your eyes pop out of your head. You ready?
Okay.
The last 3 years, Google it. The Celtics are 36-6 without Jaylen Brown. Look it up.
Okay.
36-6. Look it up while you're talking to me. And this year, he missed
why
the
do
most
we need
field
to
goals.
look it up? Would you?
I trust you.
Would you just make it up?
Why
wouldn't I trust
the
you?
The numbers sound so unbelievable.
I don't think that's unbelievable. The Celtics are one of the best teams in the league.
I watch every game, and every time he's out, I always told my wife, they're better when Pritchard and White are at the point. I'm telling you. She goes, you're crazy. I go, no, I'm not crazy. I'm tired of watching him dribble through traffic and losing the ball. He led the league in turnovers this year. Look that up. He led the league in missed field goals. Look that up.
There's a lot of stuff I need to look up here.
That's
too much work for me. I didn't come in to work hard today.
When Tom and Lynn comes to the show, I'm going to operate under the assumption that he is bringing accurate information. Why do I have to double check? Why do I have to cross check him like he's my son?
I bet you the Celtics are great without Jason Tatum too. You know why? Because the Celtics have won.
They just won 56 games,
right?
Most of which came without him.
They win a ton of regular season games, which in some ways speaks to
they're really good.
They're really good in the regular season, and guess what? In the NBA regular season, guys don't play.
No,
they don't play.
That's another whole argument for how great this whole regular season was.
Mm-hmm.
How many teams in the NBA were openly trying to lose this year? I felt like it was. I know that tanking has always been a thing. It felt like this was a particularly strong tank year. I think it's supposed to be a pretty good draft class, and I think there were a lot of teams that were openly doing things to try to lose.
The amount of worthless Tuesday night games that you're going to get against a bunch of bum teams in the NBA who aren't trying to win, or maybe they are trying to win, but it's a back-to-back, so we're not going to play anybody in the league. Yes, the Celtics win the vast majority of those games. And it's a credit to them because I think they take the regular season more seriously than other franchises. And it's a credit, by the way, too, to Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, who do play far more than the average.
Both of those guys post.
They do.
And I would also say, what Joe Mazzulla did really well this year, and he catches a lot of shrapnel in some cases, rightly so. But I think he did a really good job of keeping that entire roster engaged this year. It was Jordan Walsh and Hugo Gonzalez one night. It was Baylor Shireman the next night. I think he did a really good job of creating roles for those different guys throughout the regular season. Now, the problem came is no one had a role in the playoffs. And, down to the sort of, the farce that turned out to be a starting lineup in Game 7. But I do think in the regular season, that's part of the reason why you had so much success is you have these guys that sometimes they play, sometimes they don't. And they're going to play the second game of a back-to-back when maybe Jaylen Brown sits, and they're going to play their asses off because they're trying to get minutes. And I think Missoula did a nice job of navigating that.
What was the get-in price for Game 7, Celtics-Sixers, and you get Ron Harper? Again, if there's a theme here, getting what you pay for.
Yeah, okay.
You're not getting what you pay for there. Jake, did you get what you paid for going into that game?
I did not pay a dime because I was covering for the Sports Zone.
That's the right approach there, my friend.
The old credential.
The all-access pass.
Good job, Jake.
Did the folks who paid their hard-earned money, did they get what they paid for going into Game 7?
No.
Thank you. 90 seconds, no commercials. I see on the phone lines anything you want for the next 2 hours. It's a re-entry Monday. No Felger and Mazz. Paul Perillo's here. Matt McCarthy in for the guys.